Let's dig into the agenda for today, and our first big game to look out for. It's Leicester City versus Arsenal. This one is at the King Power. Remember, Arsenal's last game was against Aston Villa. They won that game in dramatic fashion. They needed Martinelli and Jorginho to build them out. I've barely seen Jorginho shoot like that in any game at all. But yeah, he came. When I saw that shot go, and my thought is like, you look like you have pretty good ball striking technique. Why does it look like you need to be begged to literally shoot all the time? And I have the same problem with Partey as well, but I can understand at least from the roles they play. But let me start with you, Susu, on this one. You faltered 3 games, managed to get your season jump-started with Aston Villa. Now you have a Leicester team that Sydney just described. You never really know what you are going to get from Leicester. Is it the star quality Leicester or the Leicester that look like they might get sucked into relegation? How do you strategize for a game like this as Arsenal, especially knowing that at this point the margins are really fine?
Well, that's the thing about Arsenal. They do the same thing every game. They are one of those teams. When you know you are better than everyone, you believe in your strategy, you believe in your source. You just put out the same team, go for it the same way you've been doing, and hope for the best. And you assume that your quality will overwhelm the opposition. And I think it's worked this weekend too. And Leicester, they are on and off. But I think in terms of Arsenal and how difficult they are to play, because Arsenal, they are pretty, even though in their last few games they've been a bit open, usually they are very compact, despite how attacking they are. They press very well. They kind of push you into your third, and they just lock you there, and it's difficult to get out. A lot of teams have really struggled with that. And if they do that to Leicester, their centre-backs are getting better because they made some changes. Now we are seeing Suter and Wood's face as the centre-back partnership. It seems that the centre-backs who are playing before, all the mistakes in them are kind of, Face and Suter seem to be a bit more solid.
Are you talking about our brother Danny Amati?
Oh yeah, I've not been a fan of Danny Amati.
He's had a poor season. I won't even go as far as saying Leicester, but this season particularly, his frailties have been really been in the spotlight.
Honestly, most of the time I watch Leicester play, Amati doesn't convince me, honestly, and that's the thing. It's very painful to see. He's a solid player, but I don't think that if you want to be a serious
top six type
team, you can have Amati starting week in, week out. And, that's part of the problem. So now that he's out of the team, and it's not him, the other centre-back, Soyuncu has been terrible.
He started off so well.
Yes, Soyuncu has fallen off completely. So they've had to kind of revamp their whole centre-back. They sold their best centre-back in Fofana. So there's been a lot of rejigging having to do. So it's almost like their season is now starting. So they are a very dangerous team in that sense. Maddison and Iheanacho are in pretty good form as well. But I still think because of Arsenal, how settled Arsenal are, the quality Arsenal have, they should be able to get the results. My only fear is that without Thomas Partey in the midfield and having to rely on Jorginho, they'll be less compact than usual. I think that's what they've struggled with in the last few games. It's not that Jorginho is a bad player, but I think his lack of mobility and athleticism, it just hurts him, because I think in certain moments where Partey could kind of move towards the ball, kind of
cover ground a
bit more quickly, or push someone away, Jorginho can't do that. So it really hurts him. So he has to be extra smart, and that's the problem. If you have to be extra smart, you have to be perfect when your legs are not as. Because look, you see there were times in the Aston Villa game. You can go back and watch. Aston Villa are countering. The referee, Xhaka, Odegaard are getting to the box before Jorginho. It's not good enough.
Dale, you don't do this. The referee. Do you mean the referee got to the box
I'm very serious.
No, don't do this.
The referee didn't go to. Oh, you can go and check the tape. Look, the guy.
I can't believe
and
this.
it's not to say that he's good at what he does, but his weaknesses are also very glaring. So that's the one thing that worries me. I think he's the type of player, if you are winning 2-0 and it's the 70th minute and you bring him on, and you know you come to pass, kind of kill the game, he's perfect. But if you have to start with him and things go wrong and you're chasing the game and you push for it and you get hit on the counter, he's the last player you want in your team because of that lack of pace and how easy. And that's the thing, it's making life more difficult for Saliba and Gabriel. So that's the one thing that worries me about Arsenal right now. But aside that, look, the team is very settled. They are playing very well. But I would also hope Martinelli doesn't play, because Martinelli's form has been a bit off. I think Trossard should be getting a few more minutes.
He should be starting games ahead of Martinelli.
Ahead of Martinelli for now. And even Xhaka, it looks like his flame has died a bit.
Xhaka plays well with Partey, but when Partey doesn't play, he looks very different.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think because Lokonga is also gone, you need Xhaka because they're a bit more defensive. Because the other option is Fabio Vieira. I think Fabio Vieira offers
Fabio
nothing.
Vieira can't defend to save
exactly.
his life.
So if you have a midfield of Odegaard, Vieira, and Jorginho, I think your midfield is very lightweight and it can get overrun in transition very easily. But I think right now Xhaka is a bit off for me. Maybe a few games on the bench would do him some good because he plays a lot. So maybe he's just a bit tired.
Now, Sydney, if I look at the table, right, a start jumps out of me. Arsenal are the second highest scoring side in the league this season. I mean, bar that Aston Villa game, they looked like they were struggling a little. Now, you have statistics on your screen there. This is for the Arsenal-Leicester game. So you can see points obtained, wins, draws, defeats, and then goal difference as well. But just about the goal scoring thing I'm talking about. I mean, they had Gabriel Jesus early season, scored a little, dried up, and then he got injured. Edin Ketia came in, he was scoring the goals for them. Now, they look like they're getting goals from all over the pitch and not one reliable, consistent goal scorer. Is this something they should be worried about? Or you think that if you have 61 goals, it shows that you probably don't have an issue? Is that something you worry about for them?
Well, I worry about it for them looking at who they are facing as their direct competitors for the league title.
Okay.
Because you are facing a Man City team when they get in their stride, they can be very relentless. They go for the kill, and they have a superstar striker in Erling Haaland up front for them. So that's where I'll worry, looking at if it's a shoot-off between them and Man City. But as pertains to the way they play their football, I don't think it's an issue for them. Their highest goal scorer, I think, is Saka, and he has about 7, 8 goals. And that's nowhere near Erling Haaland's 20 or 30 or whatever he has.
Nobody's near Haaland.
Nobody's near Haaland. But Saka is still in single digits, and he's the highest scorer for Arsenal. And it hasn't bothered them in any way or form whatsoever because, as you have said, everybody's chipping in with goals. You have Odegaard, playing about
the same.
Yeah, about the same. I think 7 or 8 as well. You have Martinelli, who was on fire earlier on in the season, had dried off a bit. You had Xhaka even supporting from midfield. You have Partey popping him once in a while with those his long-range bangers.
And even Gabriel is getting goals
from set pieces as well. So I wouldn't worry too much if I was an Arsenal fan about the fact that they don't have that landmark or that pointed striker. You can say this guy will guarantee us 30, 40 goals because everybody's chipping in, and the way they are playing with each other, they are complementing each other. And I think Arteta has done a really good job. I think 2 weeks ago, I was just here extolling the virtues of Arsenal, and they disappointed me just the next game against Man City. But good for me, they kind of put a smile back onto my face. Although I'm not an Arsenal fan, I would love to see them lift the title because I think Man
better
City,
them than your rivals.
Exactly. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So that's that kind of situation over here. So yeah, I'm hoping for the best for us now, and I think they can get it done. Because I was reading the other day, I think Gabriel is not too far off. I had thought his season was completely ruled out, but it seems as if he can still make it for the crucial part of the season.
I thought he would come back April, May, but it looks like he should be playing by the end of March.
It looks like he's already started.
Yeah.
I mean, look, just before we move on to the next item, Leicester concede a lot of goals. Is there any scenario in which you see them surprising Arsenal in this game because they are at home as well?
I do. I honestly do. I honestly do think they can't play a surprise because, as Susu rightly said, the Arsenal midfield in its current form or the form that they played,
they say Partey might play,
yes.
But it looks like even if he might, he will probably start off on the bench.
A cameo or something like that. So that Jorginho, Xhaka, Odegaard partnership, it looks a bit like it for me. And Leicester have a lot of nippy midfielders. They have a lot of stubborn cats. This Papi Mendy. Kenan Sumari he came back from injury last weekend. Same as Tillemans. They both came back from injury last weekend. They featured against United, and even in their absence, you see, I think the last 2 games before these guys came back, that's the 4-2 win against Aston Villa and the 4-1 win against Spurs. Papi Mendy and Dewsbury Hall, they have formed a bit of an understanding because they are players who I won't say they are both number 6 or 8. They are kind of box to box in each other, so they can complement. They know when this guy is going, I have to stay behind. So they have a bit of understanding going on, and it showed a lot in their performances. That 4-2 win against Aston Villa, I think, was a very good performance by a team that hitherto they were not looking too strong. That's the game they really came to the fore. They're able to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and able to get their points. And
they beat Spurs after that.
After that, the next game they beat Spurs 4-1. That's from coming from behind. Spurs got the first goal and they kind of obliterated Spurs.
Aston Villa also got the first two
goal
goals in that,
and
that 4-2.
and they came back. So that they're showing a kind of resilience, they're showing a kind of fighting for each other that we had not seen previously. So the United game is a bit of a setback for them. But looking at this game, the fact that they'll be playing back in front of their home crowd, looking at the fact that before the United game, even in the first half, for half a game against United, they were far the better team. So if they can just tune a bit of things, if they can just sort some stuff out, I think they can really give Arsenal one for their money. I won't be surprised if they get a draw or a win. Looking at the fact that it's also an early kickoff, and we all know what they say about the case.
Actually, I mean, it's early kickoff in the context of this weekend because there are no 12:30 games this weekend.
2 p.m. is normal.
So they are for them.
Okay. That Aston Villa game was an early kickoff game actually. So they say that the early kickoff jinx does not apply to them.
The thing is, I think there's upsets at every time. It's equally distributed. But when there's one game at 12 and we are all watching that one game, the upset is more keenly felt because we are all focused on that one game.